we could possibly have the worst hitter in the whole league.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today, guys, we're going to be asking the question, what should the squad do with Danny Jansen? Should he be on the bench, or should he be the starting catcher for the guys moving forward? But before we answer that question and break down all of them numbers, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if you're enjoying this channel. And also, Today Jays is our code for Manscaped and for Monkey Knife Fight. Two very and drastically different things that do not correlate whatsoever.
Balls
but
and money.
We're sponsored by both of them. So if you have balls or you like to bet money, then definitely do that, because you will get a discount. So let's just get into it straight away, man. Yeah, times have been tough. Times have been tough for Danny Jansen.
They're really bad, boys. Times are really bad for Danny Jansen. Just to put in perspective what he's been doing recently, he's 0 for 31 in his last 31 at-bats with 6 strikeouts, and just, over 31. So he's garbage. And, of course, as you must know, this is one of the worst starts he's ever gotten to his career.
Well, you know what? That's actually a great place for me to interject, because I wanted to do a little minute monologue on the subject. The other day, we were on the live, or I think it was on the live, and Adam made a comment, and he said, you know, this might actually be the worst start that I have seen in my time of watching baseball. And you know what?
I said that.
You did. And it really stuck with me, you know. So I wanted to go back and I wanted to look at some starts and whatnot. And now I did not go back for the past decade and look at every person's start, because I do have a life. But what I did do was I looked at Danny Jansen, what he's doing right now, which he's batting 49. I don't even know how to say that, man. It is 0.49. It is bad. His OPS is 206, so it is quite awful. And that's over 41 at-bats. So I went through the entire MLB. I looked at every single team. I looked at every single batter. And I looked at batters who had 35 or more at-bats. I thought that was a reasonable, because you have 3 at-bats, you could be, 0.
Yep.
I looked at every single team and every single guy, and he is the worst guy in the MLB right now. Danny Jansen is the worst player in the MLB with his bat. So looking at the career numbers that he's had, and he's had a career batting average of 198, and now that he is off to the worst start of his career and the worst start in baseball with his bat, I sadly do not think it is an exaggeration to say that we could possibly have the worst hitter in the whole league.
It's bad. It is straight up bad. Okay, so if he's so bad, then what the heck are we gonna do with him?
What the heck are we gonna do with him?
Because obviously, benching a catcher is not that easy.
No,
especially when this catcher catches the 2 best pitchers in your entire rotation, Mats and Hyun-Jin Ryu.
Yes.
So what do? We obviously have Captain Kirk as an option, but he doesn't take over those big guy roles. So, obviously, would you say that you'd much rather see Kirk getting those jobs? Or
here's the thing, man. I was looking at Kirk's stuff, and we're looking at a guy who's had 56 at bats in his career. I mean, he's barely been a catcher, and I know he hasn't caught for our big boys yet, but would I like to see him maybe have the opportunity to do so? Sure, right? It's I don't think that we can say, he can't do it, or they can't establish a rapport without actually going out and giving him a couple tries doing it. But I definitely see your point about, clearly there is a relationship between Ryu and between Jansen. I know that the Yankees, whenever we play them, and Garrett Cole is on the mound, they don't use Gary Sanchez. They use Higashioka, because they have a little bit of some sort of chemistry going on.
It's the battery. It's the battery. You're calling pitches together, you're working together, and you understand each other. So, Danny Jansen's been with Ryu and Mats to start the year, and they're both great. So you don't want to be the manager to be like, well, I'm gonna take Danny Jansen out of that role
for sure.
And then what happens if Ryu's and they start getting mixed up and crossed up, and they're letting up runs? It's like, what are you gonna point at as the problem, right?
Right.
But that doesn't mean that Alejandro Kirk can't find a majority of the catching jobs. Like, I think there is a way to get him 60% of the roles. And I want to get to that in a moment. But before I get into that, I just want to explain, like, I want to compare the two a little bit just to start off the year.
Do it, dude.
In their war. Because there's also an argument that is saying that, I've even said it too, Alejandro Kirk isn't as good as a defensive catcher as Danny Jansen.
Sure.
Which is true. Based on the war. Kirk's defensive war is negative 0.1 to start the year. Obviously, this is very small. And Jansen's is 0.4. So he's actually saving, more runs.
Yeah.
But this is where the offense is starting to outweigh, the negative impact of the offense is starting to outweigh the defensive.
He's the worst bat in the league.
Worst bat in the league is negative 0.6 war, offensive war for Jansen. Wow. And Kirk is a flat 0 because he just hasn't had enough opportunities.
Yeah.
So what does that come to? Negative 0.2 for Jansen, negative 0.1 for Kirk. So let's get Kirk some more bats.
I think really that's what it comes down to here, man. Like, we're talking about a guy who's got 56 at-bats in his career.
Yeah.
And some of those at-bats, he's been pinch hitting. He hasn't even been able to be a catcher. So we're looking at a sample size of him being a starting catcher in the MLB that is very, very small right now, And I know that we have Danny Jansen there, but clearly, so evidently, he is not the future at that position for us anymore.
No.
I think that we can very adequately say and acknowledge that now.
Yeah.
The future is Kirk or potentially Moreno, who is another one of our prospects, right?
We have so many good prospects up and coming.
We do.
And like, I was on the Jansen train, obviously, when he came up around 2018, 2019. I was on the Jansen train also because we didn't have any guys emerging. But now that we have so much capital, especially Kirk and Moreno, like you just said, Jansen, I'm sorry, it's time to go. So how do we this year navigate this sticky situation? Well, obviously, if you give Jansen, Mats, and Ryu, I'm okay with that. If he just works with Mats and Ryu and they're killing it and there are aces, in the rotation, then I'm cool with that. But the other 3 starters, that could totally be Kirk's.
I think we have to give it to him, dude.
Yeah,
I think we have to.
He already has Robbie Ray. We already know that Robbie Ray is his man.
Good vibe, bro.
They work. They got good chemistry. But Nate Pearson, when he pitched last year, he pitched with Jansen. Well, he hasn't pitched this year yet. I think when he comes back, this is a good opportunity to go, oh, well, hey, Pearson, why don't you work with Jansen today? And Kirk. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, with Kirk today. Then when Pearson comes back, now you got 2 and 2 for each. Then why don't you just give Kirk the bullpen days? Why don't we just give him the bullpen days?
I think that we have to, man, and I think that the management is coming to a point too where they're starting to realize, or at least I hope so.
I hope.
Cross your fingers, guys. We never know with this management.
Hopefully they're watching this video.
But
send it to them.
But they gotta realize that this is clearly not the future.
No.
Kirk maybe is.
Yeah.
He maybe is. And we're looking at some of our other guys like Biggio, like Bichette, like Vladdy. We are no stranger to defensive woes, right? This has happened, and we recognize as a team that it takes time to develop, right?
Yeah.
When we are that World Series squad, do I want somebody who's hitting .050? No. I want to have Alejandro Kirk locked in as the guy, and the only way that he's going to do that is if he gets the time and he gets the reps.
I agree.
So let's just make it happen.
I agree. Guys, what do you think about Danny Jansen? I want to hear your thoughts. You probably have a lot. So do we. That's why we made this podcast. So let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, I still actually can't get over the fact that he's the worst.
He's literally the worst.
He's actually
in the
worst
entire league.
I searched far and wide. I was initially looking for guys who had the same amount of at-bats or more. And then I was like, no, let's widen the search margins a little bit, and still nothing. But if you guys enjoy this content, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and also you can check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. Today, Jays is our code for our sponsorships, and $3 a month will make you a Patreon where you can call in to the show on my cell phone. We will pick up, we will talk to you. You can ask us a question. It's a lot of fun. Usually we're drinking. It's a good time.
Good time.
Yeah, man.
We might even do a little drinking game this Friday.
We might do a lot of drinking game this this Friday. Actually, it might be a bigger thing. I'm not sure.
It might be. So
Could
guys,
be.
check out the Wine on Wine.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
And go Jays, go.